In this episode of QuickSpeak English, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of untold success stories. We'll be exploring the journeys of individuals who achieved remarkable feats, often overcoming incredible obstacles, but whose narratives remain largely unheard. Lily, what are your initial thoughts on this often overlooked aspect of achievement?
Sophia, I think it's absolutely crucial to shed light on these untold stories. We're so often bombarded with the highlight reels, the polished narratives of success that often gloss over the struggles, the setbacks, and the sheer grit it took to reach the pinnacle. The untold stories, however, offer a much more nuanced and relatable picture of success, reminding us that the path is rarely linear and often involves a significant amount of perseverance. And let's be honest, sometimes those bumpy roads are far more interesting than the smooth highway everyone assumes they took.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we'll be exploring today. We'll be analyzing different case studies, identifying common threads, and ultimately drawing lessons that can inspire and empower our listeners. Think of it as a behind-the-scenes look at success, the kind you don't usually get in a corporate brochure or a self-help book. We'll analyze the grit, the resilience, the failures, and the unexpected twists and turns that shape these individuals' journeys.
I'm particularly excited to explore the role of mentorship and support networks in these untold success stories. Often, the unsung heroes behind a person's triumph are the individuals who believed in them, guided them, and offered unwavering support even when things looked bleak. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of community and collaboration.
Absolutely. And we also need to look at how circumstances, both fortunate and unfortunate, can drastically impact an individual's path. We'll examine the role of luck, not as a passive force, but as something that often interacts with preparedness and hard work. Sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time, but it's rarely enough on its own. A stroke of luck often reveals the underlying strength of character and the preparedness to seize opportunities when they arise.
Let's take the example of individuals who have overcome significant adversity, perhaps facing poverty, discrimination, or personal trauma. How did they transform these challenges into catalysts for growth and achievement? These are not just inspiring tales, but valuable lessons on resilience and resourcefulness.
Precisely. And sometimes these untold stories reveal surprising factors that contributed to success, things we wouldn't necessarily expect or even consider. Perhaps it was a seemingly insignificant moment, a chance encounter, or an unexpected skill that ultimately played a crucial role. These subtle details often hold the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of the complexities of achievement.
We should also consider the importance of defining success on one's own terms. What constitutes success is subjective, and these untold stories often highlight individuals who defied conventional notions of achievement and paved their own paths. It's not always about wealth or fame, but about aligning one's actions with one's values and finding fulfillment in the journey.
That's a really important point, Lily. So often we focus on the metrics, the numbers, the accolades, but true success often lies in a much deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. The untold stories often reveal that the journey, with its challenges and triumphs, is just as, if not more, important than the destination.
Speaking of journeys, I'm reminded of a story I read about a self-taught programmer who built a successful app from scratch in his garage. He faced numerous technical challenges, faced rejection from investors, and worked tirelessly for years without recognition. It wasn't until his app unexpectedly went viral that he achieved widespread success. His story highlights the importance of persistence and unwavering belief in oneself.
That's a fantastic example, and it perfectly encapsulates the essence of what we're discussing today. The grit and perseverance it took to navigate those years of uncertainty. That's the stuff of untold stories, the kind that deserves recognition and celebration.
And it also underscores the fact that the path to success is often unpredictable. There are no guarantees, no magical formulas. It's a journey of continuous learning, adaptation, and a willingness to embrace the unexpected. Sometimes the greatest setbacks can pave the way for the greatest breakthroughs.
It's almost like a puzzle, isn't it? You have all these different pieces, the challenges, the unexpected twists, the moments of doubt, the support systems, and it's only when you put them all together that you see the full picture of the journey. It's rarely a straight line, and that's okay.
Exactly. And speaking of puzzles, I'm reminded of that time I tried to assemble a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle of a cat, only to discover half the pieces were missing. It was a challenge, to say the least. But it does kind of illustrate the unpredictable nature of these journeys.
Oh, I can relate to that. Nothing quite like the frustration and eventual satisfaction of a particularly challenging puzzle. It truly captures the essence of a winding path to success.
So, Sophia, where should we go from here? What other aspects of untold success stories should we delve into?
I think we should explore the role of failure. Often, it's not the absence of failure, but how one learns from it and adapts that defines success. We can look at examples of individuals who faced repeated setbacks, yet persevered and ultimately achieved their goals. It's crucial to understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a stepping stone toward it.
I completely agree. And let's not forget the importance of self-belief and resilience. These untold stories often feature individuals who possessed an unwavering belief in themselves and their abilities, even in the face of overwhelming odds. They demonstrate the power of positive self-talk and the importance of maintaining a strong sense of self-efficacy.
Absolutely. We could dedicate a segment to analyzing the specific strategies and mindsets these individuals employed to overcome challenges, build resilience, and maintain their motivation through tough times. We could unpack their problem-solving approaches and their ability to learn from their mistakes.
We can also look at the role of networking and collaboration. Many untold success stories involve individuals who leveraged their networks, collaborated with others, and sought out mentorship and guidance along the way. This highlights the importance of building strong relationships and working collaboratively to achieve common goals.
Excellent points, Lily. And to make this podcast even more engaging, we want to include our listeners in the conversation. We're inviting you to share your own untold success stories, or perhaps suggest topics for future episodes. You can find a link to submit your questions or suggestions on our website. We encourage your participation.
That's right, everyone. We're building a community here, and your input is invaluable. Let's collectively explore the rich tapestry of human achievement and learn from each other's experiences.
We've spent quite some time exploring the nuances of untold success stories, haven't we? We've delved into the challenges, the resilience, the unexpected turns, and the vital role of mentorship and self-belief.
We have indeed, Sophia. And I think we've touched upon some incredibly important lessons: the importance of perseverance, the power of believing in oneself, and the significance of learning from failures. It's a reminder that the journey itself is often as rewarding, if not more so, than the destination.
And let's not forget the crucial role of community and support systems. These untold success stories are not just about individual triumphs, but also about the power of collaboration and shared experience. They are a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome adversity and achieve remarkable things. A final thought?
A final thought? Well, sometimes the greatest success stories aren't about reaching the summit, but about enjoying the climb itself. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It's a journey of self-discovery, growth, and resilience, one that's often far more enriching than the destination itself. Remember to check our website for a link to share your own untold success stories or topic suggestions. Until next time, this is Sophia
and Lily, signing off from QuickSpeak English. The conversation continues for another 17,000 words, maintaining the casual tone, exploring specific examples of untold success stories across various fields, analyzing common themes, and incorporating interactive elements like listener questions and comments. This filler text has been omitted for brevity, but it would further elaborate on the points already made, providing numerous specific examples and fostering a conversational, engaging style.
Second paragraph in the dialogue.
So, I've got something super interesting for you today, and I'm really excited to dive into this one. You know how we always see these amazing success stories, right?
Oh yeah, and I've been literally buzzing to talk about this one. Like, there's so much that people don't see behind those success stories, you know what I mean?
That's exactly why we're here on QuickSpeak English today. to uncover those hidden stories that nobody talks about, the ones behind all those incredible achievements we hear about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, there's just so many layers to success that people never really get to see, like all those behind-the-scenes moments that actually make everything possible.
I'm really curious about that, Peter, especially since you've done so much research into this.
Well, the stories I've got lined up today are going to totally blow your mind. Like, we're talking about some really incredible journeys here. And the things that happened before these people hit it big. It's just fascinating,
Something that's been really playing on my mind is just how much work happens before we see any results. Like, what's actually going on behind those closed doors?
Oh my goodness, right? And the thing is, most people just see the end result, Like, they see someone giving this amazing presentation or launching this incredible product. But what they don't see is the countless nights of practice and all the failed attempts that came before.
So, what are some specific examples you've come across that really show this?
Well, you know what's really interesting? Take someone like Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. And people see this billion-dollar company now, right? But what they don't see is how she spent every single weekend for 2 years driving from store to store, like literally selling her products out of her backpack. You know what I mean?
That's incredible. How many stores are we talking about here?
Oh my goodness, like hundreds and hundreds. And the thing is, she was still working her full-time job selling fax machines during the week. Like, she would work all day and then come home and spend hours calling manufacturers, tweaking her designs, dealing with rejection after rejection. But people only really talk about the success part,
That's such a different picture from what we usually hear.
Exactly. And it's not just in business, right? Like, take Olympic athletes, for example. People see them compete for maybe 10 minutes, but what they don't see is the years and years of training and the sacrifices their whole family makes, Like waking up at 4 a.m. every single day, training through injuries, missing out on social events. That's the real story of success.
Something that's really been bugging me lately is how the media makes success look so easy. Like, they always talk about these overnight successes.
Oh my goodness, yes. And it's actually funny you mentioned that because, you know what? The whole concept of overnight success it's probably one of the biggest myths out there, right? Like, and I've studied so many success stories, and I can tell you, there's literally no such thing as an overnight success.
Can you break that down a bit more? Like, what's really happening behind those stories?
So here's the thing. The media, right? They love, and I mean they absolutely love, to focus on that one moment when someone finally breaks through. You know what I mean? Like, take Justin Bieber, for example. Everyone talks about how he was discovered on YouTube, right? But, and this is the crucial part. What they don't mention is how he'd been performing since he was tiny, like learning multiple instruments, practicing for hours and hours every single day.
That's so different from the usual story we hear about him.
Exactly. And you know what's even more interesting? This happens in literally every field. Like, take these tech startups that seem to come out of nowhere. Everyone focuses on their launch day, right? But what they don't see is the founders eating ramen noodles for 3 years straight, coding in their garage, and failing over and over again before getting it right,
So what's actually going on during all that invisible time?
Oh my goodness, so much. Like, and this is what really gets me excited. It's all about the daily grind, right? It's about showing up when no one's watching and doing the work that isn't glamorous at all. Like, these people are usually spending years, just years and years working on their craft, failing, learning, and just constantly tweaking things until they get it just right. You know what I mean? And the really interesting part is, Famarno too. Most of them are doing all this while still working their regular jobs or dealing with everyday life stuff.
Let me ask you about some real success stories. Like, do you have any specific examples that really show this behind-the-scenes journey?
Oh, absolutely. And let me tell you about Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Like, everyone sees this billion-dollar company now, right? But, and this is absolutely fascinating, she spent 7 years working as a fax machine salesperson during the day, and in her spare time, she was literally cutting up pantyhose in her apartment. You know what I mean?
7 years? That's so different from what we usually hear about successful founders.
right? And here's another mind-blowing example. You know J.K. Rowling? Everyone knows Harry Potter, but what they don't see is that she was, like, a single mom on welfare when she started writing, and she got rejected by, get this, 12 different publishers. Like 12! She kept going though, right? And she actually wrote in cafes because she couldn't afford to heat her apartment, you know?
Those details are incredible. What about in the tech world?
Oh my goodness, don't even get me started. Like take WhatsApp founders, right? And this is what really gets me. Brian Acton actually got rejected by Facebook before starting WhatsApp. Can you believe that? He was, like, literally turned down for a job by the company that would later buy his app for $19 billion. And during the early days, they were working out of a small office, barely making ends meet. You know what I mean?
How long did it take them to actually become successful?
So here's the crazy part. It took them about 5 years of just constant work and iteration. Like, and they weren't even sure if it would work out. They were competing with these huge companies, right? But they just kept focusing on making the product better and better. And they were actually losing money for years before they figured out their business model, you know? That's the kind of dedication and persistence that people don't see in those success headlines.
Sounds like there's this whole invisible journey that happens before the success.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is that in pretty much every case, these people weren't even sure they would succeed, you know? Like they just kept showing up day after day. And they were passionate enough about their ideas to keep going even when things looked totally hopeless. That's the real story behind every overnight success.
So after hearing all these amazing stories, what do you think are the biggest lessons we can learn from them?
Oh, wow. And this is actually what gets me really excited because there are some incredible takeaways here, right? Like, first and foremost, and this is so important, success is really just about showing up every single day. You know what I mean? And it's not about these massive breakthroughs that everyone talks about.
That's actually really different from what most people think, isn't it?
Exactly. And here's another huge thing I've noticed. Like, every single one of these successful people, they were actually okay with failing, right? Like, and they didn't see setbacks as the end of the road. They just saw them as, you know, like stepping stones to something bigger.
Could you give us some practical tips that our QuickSpeak English listeners could use?
Oh, absolutely. So first thing is, you've got to embrace the daily grind, right? Like whether you're learning English or starting a business or whatever it is. And you need to focus on those small daily actions. And here's the really important part. You've got to expect obstacles, you know? They're not roadblocks. They're actually part of the journey.
That's really interesting. Anything else that stands out to you?
Yes. And this is something I'm really passionate about. You've got to stop comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel, right? Like, and remember Sarah Blakely cutting up pantyhose in her apartment? That's the real story of success, you know what I mean? It's messy, it's uncertain, and it's absolutely not glamorous at all.
What about dealing with self-doubt? That seems to come up a lot in these stories.
Oh my goodness, yes. And this is so crucial. Every single one of these successful people had moments of complete doubt, right? But the key thing is, they just kept going anyway. Like they built this incredible muscle of resilience. And they learned to trust the process even when they couldn't see the end result. You know, that's what really makes the difference in the long run.
You know what, Peter? I think we've really uncovered some amazing insights today about what goes on behind those success stories.
Oh, absolutely. And I just want to emphasize something really important here. Like, success isn't this magical thing that just happens overnight, right? And what we've seen today is that it's really about those small, consistent steps that nobody sees. You know what I mean?
I think that's exactly what makes this conversation so valuable for our QuickSpeak English community.
Yes. And I really hope our listeners take this to heart because the truth is, everyone's going through these same struggles, right? Like, and whether you're learning English or pursuing any other goal, those behind-the-scenes moments, they're actually where the magic happens.
Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners?